This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.
Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Sunday to you. Hopefully you had a great weekend, and we're going to end it off with a nice New York Knicks game. Summer League game. Obviously not a full live NBA game. But we're going to talk about it, ladies and gentlemen. We got Andy. We got Uncle Fulio in the building. And we're going to go ahead and get right into it. Andy, what's poppin' with you, man?
Yeah, what up, Sim? What up, Josh? What up to the chat? Like you said, Sim, happy Sunday with a Knicks game on. So
yeah, man. You know, I'm always excited, even for Summer League. I don't care. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just like watching the guys play, even if they're no-name brand players, if that's what you want to call them. I just like watching the guys
yeah,
play.
and Sim, it's going to be only the second game, but I'm already thinking that after like the next 4 or 5 games we're going to have, there's going to be like 2.5 months of a break.
Oh, gosh.
So I was like, oh, no, I'm going to watch the Eurobasket because there's going to be some good basketball here, but it's going to be a long break.
It's not good for Knicks. It's not good for Knicks fans to have that kind of a break. We don't know how to act when we get a break. You know what I mean? Uncle Fulio, what's popping with you, man?
Salute, Sim and Andy. No name brand players. I guess the players in the Knicks are 99 cents. I'll take that all day long.
Huh? We talk about Summer League, man. We talk about Summer League.
I'm only kidding. Listen, so you're right. I know, this is not the big league. This is not the big club. However, but it's good to see these young guys come out and perform and play, to see what the development is, how they've improved over, the springtime. We've seen a lot of good things in the last game, and hopefully they continue to pick it up in today's game against Chicago. So it's exciting. We can't wait.
Yeah, without a doubt. The Knicks, in the last game against Golden State, they came out, they played good defense. Right, I like what I seen from them on the defensive side of the ball. Both teams played good defense. Right, it was and Doris Burke continued to say it throughout the game that it was a well organized game. A very well played game, and I expect the Knicks to come out and continue to play well. Low turnovers. I think the Knicks only had 12 turnovers or something like that in the previous game, which the game is about 8 minutes shorter. Right, so maybe that 12 is more like 15, but they didn't do a bad job taking care of the basketball. I want to see their 3-point percentage get better. I want to see Quentin Grimes' efficiency from the field get better. Right, I'd like to see Jericho Sims use a little bit more of his basketball skill, if he has it. You know what I mean? And I'm talking about footwork, post-up moves, those type of things. He did go off the dribble, I think, his first possession of the game, which I was impressed by. I'd like to see that a little bit more. I want to see Trevor Keels loosen up, play a little bit better. Montero, I'd like to see him, really start to get into his game. I think he has a good feel for the basketball game, but, he's got to build some strength. I want to see if Perrion Hunt can do it again. I don't want people to go overboard and start saying he's better than Cam Reddish and everything. Right? Because he hasn't.
You know what's coming, Tim. You know what's coming.
He hasn't proved that yet, but I want to see if he can duplicate what he did in the previous game against Golden State. Do you any takeaways, Andy? I don't think you were on the post game show with us, right?
Yeah. I was in bed. Yeah. It was 5 a.m. here.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. Any takeaways from the first game for you?
Well, I'm surprised that Tony got the shot numbers for Grimes almost correct. He had like 21 shots. I was like, he got a loose trigger.
And 14 of them were from 3.
Yeah,
Like,
so
Tony was
Tony
almost
wasn't
on point.
that much off, right?
Right. But any
Yeah, but
takeaways? So?
yeah, but like you said, Sim, I was surprised by a couple of moves that Sims did. We knew the leaping ability that he has. I was surprised that Grimes led us in assist numbers. I'm not gonna lie that from 8 of those assists, I think 5, or it was at least 4, were in a fast, a fast break, assists. So it wasn't that much of a playmaking thing in the half court, which is going to be, mostly what we're going to run with Tibbs as the coach, not Dice. But I was still surprised and happy about that aspect. I was a little bit down about the Jean Montero because you guys pumped me up before the game, and I was like, I want to see something from this kid. But he had a bad game. But I think, like you guys said, it was one of the first games. He wasn't playing that bad, but the numbers didn't check it. So most of the fans are going to see that he ain't that guy that we all predicted. But I think he might have a bounce back game, at least 1 or 2 games out of these 5 that we're going to play. Deuce McBride, I expected basically everything that he did in that first game. I hope he is going to play a little bit better just to show us that he's evolving even between these games. I'm going to be happy that he's going to be that floor general, that he's going to command the attention of his teammates. And listen, the biggest surprise, Perrion Hunt. I don't think any would bet even $10 that he's going to have more than 5 steals. He had 7. I'm not going to lie that he read the offense of the opposite team really well, because those steals came off of cutting the passing lanes, and that's why he got easy buckets on the fast breaks. So yeah, I'm basically happy. Also, the rookie Keels that we signed to a contract. It's not like I'm let down by him because I said that I'm not going to have high expectations of him. But I think he might have played a little bit better, and I expect him to play a little bit better down the road in the Summer League games.
Yeah. Montero, I didn't think that Montero played bad. I thought he played. I know you corrected it and said not really bad, but I thought he played maybe safe.
Yeah, secure, right? I was gonna say secure.
Yeah. He didn't want to make a mistake or do anything like that. I still think he has a really good feel for the basketball game, and I'm hoping to see him loosen up a little bit more. Use his speed to his advantage, get out on the break a little bit more. But when you got Quentin Grimes, Miles McBride, Jericho Sims, and even Perrion Hunt, who have all played minutes with the actual New York Knicks, he's going to take a back seat naturally to those guys, and you've seen it with the minutes distribution. He'd come in for a couple minutes and then boom, Miles McBride right back out there on the floor. As a matter of fact, when you look at the way that Dice Yoshimoto was coaching, is a lot like Tibbs. That's Tibbs' guy. He's been with Tibbs everywhere that Tibbs has gone. A lot like Tibbs. These are the guys that I trust, and I'm going to have them on the floor. I don't know about the rest of you guys yet. You got to get into my circle of trust and getting that mindset ready with these guys for the regular season, because that's the way that Tibbs does. And that's the purpose of having your guy coach the Summer League and having assistant coaches that understand the way that you run your team. You know what I mean? Josh, what about you?
So, Tim, for me, I agree with you. I think the defense was spectacular. I like the ball pressure. The Warriors tried to do a lot of picks and a lot of screens, and the Knicks were just right there, taking away passing lanes. That's why we got those turnovers in the game. We forced a lot of turnovers in that game. Our turnover ratio was great from us not turning the ball over and for us forcing turnovers from Golden State. So that was pretty good. Most of that was due to Perrion Hunt, but the defensive ball pressure was there. I mentioned in the pregame from the last game when they played the Warriors that I wanted to see the confidence of the second-year guys, Quentin Grimes, Mcbride, Jericho Sims, and it was just confidence. I love that confidence that they have. They're the elder statesmen of this group, of this Summer League group, so you expect to see that confidence there, and they definitely delivered on that. Quentin Grimes, my big thing for him was seeing how he was going to recover from that injury. Because when he came back from the injury last season, he just wasn't the same player. He was playing a little bit tentative. And right out the gate, just shooting that basketball, just throwing it up there. Really good looks, too. He just was missing shots. I'm not worried about that. I think that will eventually come once he gets into the flow of the game a little bit more. So I'm excited about Quentin Grimes. Mcbride, confidence, just, running the offense, orchestrating the offense, defensive ball pressure was there, picking up full court. I really love that about Miles McBride. And Sims, like you said, Sims shows some ability on the offensive end, putting the ball on the floor, bringing the ball up the court, which I think is really, really important as well. So I'm really excited about those 3 rookies that we had from last season that are now second-year guys. Mm-hmm. As far as Montero and Kills didn't have a good game. Him and Montero both were playing a little bit safe and secure. They really, are still trying to get that confidence that these second-year guys have. Hopefully they're able to get that. But Montero, the knock on him coming out of, the Dominican Republic and stuff was that his defense was bad. But he had a few defensive plays where he played some solid defense and played really well. So I'm excited about this group. I'm not going to go overboard with it, but I think there were some good things that we can take from the last game into this game, and hopefully we're able to continue that.
Yeah, he was able to pressure up. You know what I mean? I like that about him, and I'm sure it's something that, Yoshimoto said, hey, this is the way that we want you to play. If you're ever going to make this squad, we want you to be able to pressure up. And so he went out there and he pressured up, and it's good to see. You know what I mean? It's good to see. There is a game tonight. I seen someone in the chat ask, when is the next game? Tonight, 5 p.m. on ESPN2, the Knicks take on the Chicago Bulls. All right, so make sure you check that out, ladies and gentlemen. Big shout out to Angry Man. Thank you for the super chat. He says, check your email, put me in. I checked it, and I will be reaching out to you, my man. So let's be a little bit patient. We got you. All right, we're going to reach out to you and talk to you a little bit. The Chicago Bulls, let's take a look at their Summer League roster, ladies and gentlemen. The Bulls were like one of the top teams in the Eastern Conference. So, of course, they had a lower draft pick. But their main guy, their first-round draft pick from this year is Dalen Terry. Number 25, he's 6'7", 195 pounds. He's 19 years old. Of course, he's a rookie. You got Ethan Thompson, who's another rookie from Oregon State. He's a guard, 6'5", 195 pounds. Marko Simonovic, he's 6'11", plays center, 220 pounds. Malcolm Hill, he's a guard/forward, 6'6", 220 pounds. Kareem Jones, he's a guard, 6'1", 185, played for the Texas Legends. Dalen Terry, ladies and gentlemen, played for Arizona. Justin Lewis, he's a forward, 6'7", 245 pounds. Rookie, played for Marquette. Javon Freeman Liberty is another guard, 6'4", 180 pounds. He's a rookie, played for DePaul. Justin Wright Foreman, 6'2", 190 pounds. He played for Brigham Squadron. Second year in the league. He's 24 years old. Or second year, I guess, in the Summer League. All right. Perrion Calandre. Hopefully I said that correctly. He's 6'2". He's a guard, 180 pounds. Rookie, played for Idaho. Akoida Gak. He's a forward, 6'11", 19 years old. Rookie, played for Illawarra.
New Zealand, okay. Henry Dell, he's a forward, 6'9", 214 pounds. He played for Estonia. Sindarius Thornwell, he's a guard, 6'4", 215 pounds, 27 years old, 3 years experience, came from South Carolina. And Macure Maker, 6'11", 235 pounds, rookie, and he comes from Howard. I'm pretty sure you guys know the whole story about Maker and his choice of Howard University. You know what I mean? And then how things went at Howard for Maker, and I'm hoping he makes it in the league, man. You know what I mean? I think that would be good for him. He's 21 years old, 6'11". So I'm hoping that he does well. Any thoughts about this Chicago? I know, we may not know a whole lot about Chicago and their draft class and all of that, but any thoughts about their Summer League roster?
Well, from what I saw, Sim, for one, they got good defensive guards on that roster. They're not like, whatever they're going to do in the NBA, but in the summer league, they got a good defensive backcourt. And the center, Marko Simonovic, he literally won them the last game. So he's a good player. Played in Serbia last year, so he got that, Jovic, Jokic, those Serbian guys, kind of basketball play IQ, high IQ guy, can pass the ball, and got some post moves. So
Yeah. Josh, any thoughts?
Yes, I mean the first thing that the first thing that kind of jumps off the screen when you look at the Bulls roster and a lot of these summer league rosters, how many of these kids are born after the towers came down? 2002? Like, wow! Like, time is just moving. Like,
time moves on, bro. What you gonna do?
Like, I mean, that's just the first thing that jumps off the screen. Like, these guys are coming in younger and younger, and it's like time is flying. But I think it's really interesting about McCall Maker. I was really rooting for that story. I wanted to see him play a little bit longer at Howard, just to kind of give, because he was highly touted coming out of high school.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to see him stay at Howard a little bit more. I'm surprised he made the jump to the league this early, but, I guess he just wanted to, make some money, I guess. But a lot of Chicago's roster, a lot of these guys are coming from overseas. You mentioned Estonia, you mentioned New Zealand, a lot of G League guys. So, it should be an interesting matchup. I think the Knicks will have the upper hand because I don't recognize a lot of these guys on Chicago's Summer League roster from their main roster from last season. So a lot of these guys are newer to the league. So I don't want to say it's going to be an easy task for the Knicks. I don't want to just, jump Chicago like that. But the Knicks should be able to continue what they did the last game and build on that in this game.
Yeah, Dalen Terry, he's their, he's their player. I mean, 6'7". He's he's good. He's a good ball player. You know what I mean? And Quentin Grimes, I'm thinking Quentin Grimes. I guess I don't know if it would be Quentin Grimes or Perrion Hunt that's going to guard him. For either one, it should be a good test, right? If it's Perrion Hunt, it's going to be a good test to say, hey, can you guard these type of guys in the league? Right? He's 6'7", 195 pounds. He can play that guard forward position. Can you guard these guys in the league? If you were to get on the Knicks regular roster. And then, of course, for Quentin Grimes, there's a big call for him to be the starter for the New York Knicks. Quentin Grimes is 6'5". Guy like Dan Lettieri is 6'7". And we've seen Quentin Grimes guard in the NBA, but still, it's still a good test to say, can you defend one of these guys for 40 minutes? Right? Because Summer League is 40 minutes. He probably isn't going to play 40 minutes, maybe 30 minutes. Can you defend one of these guys for 30 minutes? Got his long, lanky, talented, can move without the ball, can move with the ball, can go off the dribble, et cetera, et cetera. So I think it's a good challenge for both of those guys if they get the assignment. I want to ask you guys, what do you want to see from Quentin Grimes? Because that's the question. Will he be the starter over Evan Fournier? I, right now, still don't believe that he's going to be. And it has nothing to do with his basketball skill or anything like that. I think right now, I still believe Evan Fournier being in the starting lineups allows the first and second units to be more balanced. I still feel that it does. There was a tweet the other day, I think I was on Knicks and Bruises with Tony, and someone said, doesn't it make sense to have RJ and Cam together and then Fournier and Grimes together? And I'm like, no, that doesn't make sense because RJ and Cam play more alike. Grimes and Fournier play more alike. So it's better to mix and match
those guys.
Right, yeah. To split them up, to mix and match them. And given the, I don't want to call Fournier a defensive liability, but giving his defensive skill, I don't know if I want to put him with Obi in the second unit. Right? So I'm more comfortable keeping him in the first unit with RJ. Hopefully Brunson can be a bruiser at that point guard spot. I have no problems with him guarding other point guards. He's not really able to switch off to many other positions unless the other team has a small shooting guard, right? But I think I'm willing to take the chance with Brunson and Fournier in the backcourt than with Fournier and Obi at the 3 and 4 spots in the second unit. You know what I mean? And maybe Fournier would be at the 2 spot and Cam Reddish at the 3 spot. I don't know, but I'm not comfortable with Fournier and Obi in the second unit together at this point. I think that first unit, you know, Mitch is able to help erase any mistakes if guys are able to get to the basket. I do think Fournier can play good team defense, and him and Jalen Brunson both play good team defense together, and RJ Barrett as well, so that may work. You know? But what would you want to see from Quentin Grimes to say, yeah, he needs to be elevated to the starting spot? I'll begin with you, Andy.
Listen, for me, there's only one way that we're going to bench Fournier in favor of Quentin Grimes is if the, you know, shot attempts in the starting lineup between Jalen Brunson, Julius Randle, and RJ Barrett are so low that keeping Evan Fournier in the rotation literally means that he's going to have, like, you know, 5, 6, 7 shots, you know, a game. That's when you move him to the bench and allow him to shoot more off the bench. Quentin Grimes is currently a catch and shoot player from what we saw last season, and him being in that starting role and, you know, making up on the defensive end for Fournier might work a little bit more, but we can't expect for Grimes to get, you know, as many points as Fournier because he's starting or stuff like that. That's why that's the only thing that's going to, you know, make me accept benching Fournier. For me, as far as I see it, I think Tibbs is going to start, you know, with Fournier at the beginning of the season, probably first 10 games. If we're going to have a bad record after the 10, maybe 20 games even, he might look for, you know, switching up something in the starting lineup. But at the current moment, I don't see him benching Fournier from day one, unless he has a talk and he's going to, like, promise Fournier, listen, you're going to have way more shot attempts off the bench. We're going to play totally different offense there with the bench guys, and it's going to favor you more, you know, box score wise. That might, you know, make Fournier accept a bench role at this point of his career.
Okay. Josh, what about you?
So for me, I just want to see Quentin Grimes continue to build on what he did the last game. And I don't think at this point there's no reason for me to put Quentin Grimes in the starting lineup over Evan Fournier. I'm looking at what Pete Panagiotopoulos, hopefully I got your name right, saying in the chat. He said Grimes had 8 assists the last game. There's no reason to put him in the starting lineup. This summer league roster is a little bit more free-flowing. And I think Quentin Grimes fits better in a free-flowing style of offense. The Knicks starting unit is not a free-flowing style of offense.
You could say that about Fournier too.
Well, I think there's more scripted plays for Evan Fournier as far as the dribble handoff, the give and go with Randle. RJ is able to run some plays with Fournier. So I think the plays are a little bit more scripted. It's less free-flowing than, say, the bench unit or the summer league roster, right? Now, if you want to make the argument, you know, you get rid of Randle and the rest of these guys to put Grimes in there, you know, I would probably agree with that. But as of right now, I think Fournier fits better with Randle and with RJ Barrett because of his ability to stretch the floor, to run those dribble handoff plays, those wings plays, or what have you. And I just like Fournier there. It's not just about the numbers. I'm looking at how they play well together, and I think Fournier fits better with the starting unit than Quentin Grimes, in my opinion.
Yeah, and see, that's where I'm at with it. You know, I agree with you, and I think I would like everyone to kind of understand it's not just about the player, which player puts up more stats, which player is better. It's about the units and how the units work and fit together. You know what I mean? And which units actually play well together, and are your units balanced? You know what I mean? You don't want to have one unit that can't play defense, one unit that can score. You know, you try to make them balanced so that you put a strong squad out there on the floor whenever with whatever unit that's out there, and then come down the stretch of the game, you play the unit that you think is your strongest unit. You know what I mean? And then, of course, based on player's performance that night, et cetera, et cetera. So I don't think it's all about just is Fournier better than Grimes or is Grimes better than Fournier. It really does have to be about the fit of the team. You know, I see people say, oh, well, Fournier don't need to start. It's not about if he needs to start or not. It's about, does it fit with the team? That's what I think. Sanger Waldron said, but Grimes is the better player. He could be, he could not be. I'm going to tell you what, he hasn't proven it in the NBA yet. He's only been in the league 1 year, and I'm not saying that he won't prove it. I'm just saying it hasn't happened yet. You know, I think people are saying he's a better player because people like him more. I don't know if that necessarily means he's a better player in the NBA. That's just my my opinion.
We drafted him. Right. That's all that matters.
Right.
Yeah, and Sim, there are also two more things, because, you know, if fans are thinking that Fournier is such a, you know, bad defender and liability, you can always, you know, put him on the shooting guard, on the small forward. He's literally the same height as RJ. So if RJ is way better than Fournier, just put him on one of the guards positions, right? And switch up. Listen, the offensive in the current NBA is so depending on fast pace and passes and movement on the offense that the defense, literally every defense nowadays, switch. So, you know, doesn't matter if you're going to play shooting guard, small forward, you're literally going to play, you're literally going to switch like 2-3 times in one possession even. So I don't think that's going to be the case. And if you're thinking that all three are bad on defense, then listen, I don't think that's only one guy's problem. And the other thing, Sim, with the chemistry on the offense, listen, there was no, maybe not usage, but wasn't more to player combinations on the Knicks between Fournier and Randle that played together more, those dribble handoffs, whatever, than actually Fournier and Randle. Right. Even RJ wasn't playing with Randle so much. That's why if you are benching, you know, Fournier and bringing up anyone, if you want it to be Cam, it can be Cam. If you want it to be Quentin Grimes, it can be Quentin Grimes. But none of those guys, you know, have the chemistry with Julius Randle as you know, the whole last season, you know, pounding the ball against, you know, the head against the wall, whatever, the bad offense that people were, you know, talking about that Tibbs has. So let it go out the window, right? So.
Yeah, and Tim, I just want to add to what I was saying in regards to that dribble handoff, like Andy was talking about. If Grimes can be able to move it out the basketball, and we can see if the Knicks implement some of that offense into this summer league, this roster, you know, the dribble handoffs and stuff like that, Grimes coming around those screens, you know, I would like to see more of that. Maybe that'll give me a little bit warmer question on how he will perform in that lineup. But I just think this lineup is, again, too free-flowing, which is a good thing. It's good to be a little bit free-flowing, but the main club with Randle in there, I don't think that's the same way. So you can't just plug Grimes in there and expect magic to happen. It actually has to work and make sense. Yeah. And right now, I don't think it does.
Knicks Worldwide said, the team was trash last year, so why roll out near enough the same unit and expect different results? Well, I'm going to answer that with two. I'm going to give two answers to that. One, in 2019 and 20, I think, the Knicks had a starting unit that was not good. Peyton, RJ, Randle, Bullock, Mitch. Right? After Marcus Morris left. In 2020, 2021, the only change was Tom Thibodeau. Same unit, only change was Tom Thibodeau. The Knicks ended up with a winning season. So you ask, why roll out the same unit? Well, there's a change. Jalen Brunson is the change, which is going to be a big change to the way that this unit operates. There's no doubt about it, in my opinion. Right? So I don't know if you're going to expect the same results because you're adding a different piece. One piece changes everything. One new player to a team changes everything. It's no doubt about it. So, yeah, I do expect different results, even if Evan Fournier is still starting. And Quentin Grimes was on the team last year, too. So it's not like you're changing that much if you take Evan Fournier out the lineup and put Quentin Grimes in, because you can always make a substitution if you felt like Evan Fournier wasn't playing defense well, you could say, you know what, let's get Grimes in the game. I mean, it's not that hard to do. You can do that. You know what I'm saying? And you can decide to play that lineup throughout the game. The Knicks had the number 11 defense last season, which wasn't bad. You know what I'm saying? Especially the East got better, right? The Knicks still had a good defense last year. There were a lot of holes in it, no doubt about it. It's not perfect. That's why I was number 11. But they played a good defense last year. I think Legion and Knicks said it on Twitter not too long ago. I don't know if it was today or yesterday. I don't know. I wasn't on Twitter yesterday, so I could have got it today and it was yesterday. But he said if the Knicks have a top 10 or even 11 defense like they did this year, people got to give Tom Thibodeau some credit. You know what I'm saying? And I believe the Knicks can have that kind of defense again this year, even if Evan Fournier is in that starting unit, right? Because it's about team defense too, not just individual defense. And I think Jalen Brunson understands how to play team defense. Evan Fournier understands how to play team defense. Yeah, go ahead, Josh.
Again, I'm not worried about the defense. I think if Knicks Worldwide wants to bring up a point, I think you can bring up the Knicks offense. But like you said, I think Brunson is a big key to what the Knicks are going to be doing offensively, because now you got a guy who can be out there to calm things down, to actually run the offense, who's very efficient. And I think we were not that efficient from the field last season, right? So offense, if you want to make your argument that offense, why put the same lineup out there? Because, if the offense is bad, you can make that argument. But again, you got Jalen Brunson, who you can expect the offense to be a little bit better. I don't expect it to be, in the top 10 or top 15 or whatever, but the offense is going to be better than what it was, because over the past 4 years, the Knicks offense has been god-awful. Yeah. God-awful. And I think, a lot of that is the pace that we play. A lot of that is the lack of efficiency. And I think for having someone like Brunson, you can at least improve on the efficiency part, right? Getting easier shots for some guys on the floor. Pace, I don't expect to change. Thibodeau is just not a fast-paced, early in the shot clock type of coach. But efficiency, I think that alone, and having a point guard out there can help our offense. And if that improves just even slightly, that's the reason why you have that lineup out there on the floor.
Yeah, and Diego Thomas said, Derrick Rose was that change. Yes, Derrick Rose came in and he helped the Knicks to have a winning record last year, but Tom Thibodeau established, the way that the Knicks play defense, the structure of the team and all of that kind of stuff. You understand what I'm saying? You get it. And Derrick Rose is still on this team. And by way, Derrick Rose didn't play last year, basically. You know what I mean? So, there's a lot that I think the Knicks have to look forward to, even if Evan Fournier is in that starting unit. So I'm not mad at it. And I expect him to still be in that starting unit when the season begins. Everyone is assuming that it's going to be Cam Reddish or Quentin Grimes. I don't. I still think it's going to be Evan Fournier. He knows how to play the basketball game. He knows how to play it. And I think that's going to be the bottom line of it. And until Quentin Grimes or Cam Reddish prove that they have an understanding of the game a little bit better than Fournier, then I think he'll be in that starting lineup. And this I'm not saying anything bad about Quentin Grimes or Evan or Cam Reddish. You know what I'm saying? It's just I think Tom Thibodeau respects Evan Fournier's experience with the basketball game. That's where I'm at with that. So, if they do start Quentin Grimes or Cam Reddish, it is what it is. I don't care. It doesn't really matter to me. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying what I expect. Looking at Miles McBride. I want to talk about Miles McBride a little bit. Quentin Grimes, by the way, though, I think right now is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The 9th leading scorer in Summer League at 24 points a game. Only one game at 24 points a game. We'll see if he duplicates that effort tonight at 5 p.m. versus the Chicago Bulls. But Miles McBride, looking at the Knicks roster, it's not a lot of room for him to play. Right? Now with Jalen Brunson there, Emmanuel Quickly there, coming off the bench. Derrick Rose there if you need another guard coming off the bench. Well, what are we going to do with Miles McBride?
I'll go first.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll go first. Listen, I think it's really important to have depth on the roster. I really think that's important. I know from the outset, if you're looking at it just right now at face value, yeah, I mean, there's no room for Miles McBride to play. You expect him to be situational, but during the course of the season, injuries happen. Just like last season, no one thought that a lot of these rookies were going to play, and they wound up playing because injuries and the circumstances happen. You know what I mean? Same with Jericho Sims. There's no room for him to play, right? If you just look at it at face value right now. But I think, you just gotta, that's how NBA seasons work. And I think having depth on the roster, obviously you don't want injuries, but having depth there just in case is a good thing. So you just never know. And Miles McBride just needs to stay ready. I listen, I'm not saying we need to hold on to him at all costs. I think if a perfect trade comes along, he might be included in that. Just like everyone else on the roster. But if we don't trade him, I think he just needs to stay ready and wait for his opportunity. And I eventually believe that it will come in the NBA. He's very talented, and I think he will get a chance to play at some point.
Okay. All right. Andy?
I agree with Josh on this point. I think Miles McBride currently is the third or even fourth point guard, considering the Knicks roster depth. I could see late in the season if the result was sorted, meaning that we wouldn't be making the playoffs or we would be in the playoffs and not have a chance. I think D-Rose might be, the player that is going to go to Tibbs and say, listen, I can play less minutes. You can play McBride if that's the case or something like that. He should be ready for the playoffs as far as I see it. His minutes are going to be way more valuable in the playoffs than anyone else's off the bench as far as I see it. So I could see something like that happening, that D-Rose volunteers literally to take a seat, take a game off, and that's going to be the chance that Deuce might get a minute here, a minute there. Otherwise, he has to wait probably for injury to happen.
Yeah, most likely. What do you want to see from Deuce in the Summer League? Because one of the things after the last game, like I said in the post-game show, sometimes I feel like he has a hard time getting past people, right? And it's just not a natural thing for him to put on the Jets and get past somebody. He doesn't have, loosey-goosey handles, so he's not going boom, 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 and then pulling back on a retreat dribble and pop, pop, and go. Like, that's not his game. I don't know if that's something that he's even worried about working on, or if his trainers are working on that type of game for him, because I just don't think he has that skill set. So what do you want to see from Miles McBride over these next few games? Looking at last game and what we've seen, what do you want to see from him more? I'd like to see him get into the paint a little bit more if he can. Right? I don't know. And maybe he just doesn't even try to blow past this guy. Maybe that's just not his game. But I'd like to see him be able to blow past this guy and get into the paint. But when he's getting pressured up the floor, it doesn't seem like he can blow past this guy. And then make someone say, oh, maybe I need to step back some and get this guy some space. What do you want to see from Miles McBride? Go ahead, Josh.
So Sam, to me, I agree with you. I don't think Miles McBride is that kind of player. I don't think Miles McBride is a primary ball handling type of point guard. I think he's like a Malcolm Brogdon, essentially. Secondary ball handler, can play really good defense, can knock down some shots. Someone that's good to have if you got some dominant ball handling guys on your team already. But Miles McBride is not that kind of point guard, in my opinion. And I don't think we should necessarily expect that from him. Expect him to be something that is not. I hear what Kid's saying in regards to how he can get better stuff to improve on, but I just don't think that's his game at this stage in his career. And I don't think that's what he never will be. But it just seems to me like that's just not his game. His game is off the ball. He can be able to knock down some shots, play really good defense, and play the game that way. I think that's also very, very important to have. And if the Knicks have him still on the roster and they're able to get some dominant ball handlers that can knock down some shots, Miles McBride won't need to do everything that you're talking about, in my opinion.
Now, and shout out to Andy Grill 1. He said he's steady with the rock, and he is. I'm not worried about him losing the basketball or anyone taking the ball from him. He's steady with the rock, so I'm not worried about that. But if they're using him at the primary point guard position, when you get pressure, right, I like to see you be able to beat the pressure. you're getting full court pressure. To relieve that pressure, one of the ways is to beat it, right. or use a screen, or pass it to a center and then get the handoff, and that that helps you to beat the pressure too. But I get concerned if he can't beat the pressure when he's getting pressured full court. How can you initiate the offense? Because you got this pressure on you. In summer league, he might be able to initiate the offense still. In the NBA, it's tough. So I'm not looking for him to have crossovers and all of that kind of stuff. I just want him to have enough speed to beat the pressure when it comes. That makes the defender second guess whether or not to pressure him. And I don't see it right now. I feel like beating his man is a little bit of a struggle for him at this point. You know what I mean? And maybe it doesn't have to do with speed. Maybe it has to do with angles and things that he needs to work on. I don't know. I'm going to be watching for it today in the game, though. Because I would like to see him take his man and beat his man off the dribble, even if he doesn't go all the way to the paint. Right? He's getting pressured full court, beat his man off the dribble, retreat dribble, pull back, initiate the offense if that's what he needs to do. You know what I mean? So I don't care really about him having a loosey-goosey dribble. I'm not worried about that. Andy, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, just to add to what you guys said, I think it's going to sound, bad or wrong, but his athleticism is holding him back. I mean, like, he doesn't have a long legs, long, arms to get past you with the first step. And that's a problem in the NBA because he's one of the smallest guards on the roster. And, he's already a finished product almost as far as, his body getting ready for the NBA, right? Even if he's going to go, more to the gym, he's going to get only ripped more. He ain't going to grow. He ain't going to, probably get faster. That's besides him. He's not a player from Europe that, they never hit the gym. And now they're going to suddenly get on a super diet and gain like 20, 30, 40 pounds and get faster and quicker and stuff like that. So I think his body build is actually holding him back. I think, Sim, what we got to notice here is that he has a really similar body build to Jalen Brunson. And I think those two guys working together in the practice facility, he's going to develop, because Brunson sometimes also can get past his guy, but he knows, like you said, the angles. He knows where to initiate the contact to get past you.
Right.
If he ain't going to get past you, he's going to get a foul called.
Right.
I think Deuce is a little bit afraid to get that, contact because he's afraid that he's going to get stripped and stuff like that. But I think, him playing with Jalen Brunson is going to do miracles for his game. Yeah. I hope just we're going to be able to see it on the Knicks.
So you think, and I think I agree with you, learning that craftiness as a way to get to the basket, because that's what Jalen Brunson really has. He's very crafty. He doesn't have that blazing speed that's just going to go by you 100 miles an hour. He does know how to use his body. He's got a wide body, strong upper body, so he's able to use his body to fend off the defender. When he gets into the lane, he's got a bunch of fakes and shoulder shifts and things like that throws the defender off. When maybe Jalen Brunson can work with Mcbride and help him learn some of those things. I agree there. He's got the toughness already. McBride does. Can he learn that craftiness, so that he can get past this man and do some things in that manner? I seen Sherwin M ask, did Emmanuel quickly beat the pressure and get into the lane and things like that? Yes, he did. He did. As a matter of fact, this year he learned how to stay on his feet when he would beat the pressure and get into the lane. You remember his first season, as soon as he got in the lane, he was throwing up the floater. This year he learned a little bit better how to stay on his feet, kick it out, et cetera, et cetera. You know what I mean?
Much more loosey-goosey with the basketball, too.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, got a better handle than Miles McBride. And I'm not coming down on Miles McBride. This is Summer League, so we're talking about ways for these players and guys to develop things that I see. And I could be totally wrong. Maybe his trainers, have an idea of how they're asking him to develop. I'm just speaking on what I see out there. A fanatic Haitian said, think of him like Marcus Smart. He needs help. I can see where you're going with that. You know what I mean? And I don't think he means help. I think when he's saying help, like when we're talking about beating the pressure, he may not have that explosiveness, but he can use screens. He can use, his teammates, pass the ball, get the handoff, and then initiate the offense, things like that. You know what I mean?
Well, and to beat a full guard press, you're going to need help anyway. Someone has to come help to go get the basketball, particularly if your guy's being doubled in the backcourt. I know there's some guys who can break that, like Sim was saying. There's some guys who can just with their speed break that. But in the NBA, I think, if you got two guys coming at you in the backcourt in a straight up full court press or full court trap type of situation, like you're going to have to come help. So that's just the nature of the play.
Well, yeah, of course, if you got two guys coming at you. I'm not even talking about two guys coming at you. I'm talking about one player defending you full court and being able to beat that guy off the dribble when he's defending you full court. Sometimes if you don't have the speed, you need to use your teammates. Chick George said Miles McBride is not like Marcus Smart. He's a better shooter and more of a point guard. I don't think we were talking about their styles of play when we brought up Marcus Smart. We were just simply talking about his ability to beat pressure.
But Sam, so in regards to that comment, this is what I've been trying to tell Knicks fans, because yes, I understand we needed a point guard, but in today's NBA, your point guard doesn't necessarily have to be the one leading you in usage rate. Your point guard doesn't have to lead you in assists. Typically, if you look up and down the roster, it's not your point guard who leads you in assists. It's your best player, right? Miami, Jimmy Butler, Boston, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown. They're going to be the ones handling the basketball and setting up the offense, so to speak. The offense is going to be running through them, right? And I understand it's important to have a point guard to feed them the ball, another ball handler out there on the floor. But a lot of times in the NBA, players like Miles McBride can last and be in the NBA for a very long time as a point guard without necessarily leading the team in assists and dominating the basketball. And to what I was trying to respond to Sam to say is that being a secondary ball handler is okay. It's okay to be a secondary ball handler and to not do some of those things that Sam is talking about, because he does other things at the point guard position as opposed to just being that Jason Kidd or that facilitating type of point guard, because nowadays in the NBA, you're just not going to see that. It's typically going to go through your wing, your Tatum, your Brown, and other guys like that around the league who are going to set up those offenses. Butler and things of that nature.
I agree, but right now in the summer league, they're using, when Miles McBride has the ball, he's advancing it up the floor, and he's getting pressure on him, and now he's dribbling against the pressure, right? Fighting pressure with pressure instead of doing something to release the pressure. Does he release it through passing? Does he release it through beating his man off the dribble? So I was just looking to see how he grows in that area. You know what I mean? Because that's going to impact the way that he plays in the NBA. You know what I mean? And the amount of minutes that he gets in the NBA, how he can beat that pressure, because that's important. You got guys that can pressure up 94 feet, 92 feet, whatever the basketball court is. You know what I mean? You got guys that can pressure up, and you got to be able to handle that pressure without turning the basketball over. Or the one thing I will say is he's strong with the basketball, so I don't worry about people taking it, right? But you also, you can't feel scared when he has the ball, and I don't feel scared when he has the ball. But we've had other players on the team. I'm not trying to diss Frank, but sometimes when Frank was bringing the ball up the court, I was a little bit scary. Like, okay, what's about to happen? Is he going to turn it over or what? Because it looked a little bit scary. You know what I'm saying? Miles McBride looks confident with the ball. Walter Blackman Jr., thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you. And Jeremy Maynard, thank you for the super chat. He said Jeffries was a revelation. Hunt has been a consistent athletic energizer. Bunny, Grimes, crescendoed. Sims was awesome, and McBride needs to drive. I want to talk about Jeffries, though. Did you see anything from Jeffries that you like in the first Summer League game? Andy, I'll come to you with that.
I think that was the man with one of them dunks, right? On
he had a nasty dunk.
Yeah, I was like,
dunk. I think he got an N1 on it, right? He got an N1.
Yeah. I think they did call a foul on it too. So, but he played with great energy as far as I saw. I didn't know nothing, on him before the Summer League game. I'm happy he showed out, because I literally had no expectations from the rest of the guys. So I was pleasantly surprised by his game. And same, like you said before, he had to take a back seat behind the guys, behind the rookies, even because he was undrafted. So he is looking to carve a niche on this summer league team and probably get a camp invite, or get to the G League squad. I don't think he has a shot after a game like that for the main roster, but at least sticking around with the organization and drilling that that niche for him that maybe one day is going to get him to the big leagues.
Yeah. Josh, any thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. I don't think he's going to, make the main roster either, but this is someone that we can have down in the G League, who the Knicks can keep down in that farm system and keep preparing these players and developing these players. But he was hungry. He played hungry, like he wanted to make the team. I think that dunk that he had was nasty. It's something that, the team is actually paying attention to. And, it just goes to show you some of these people that the Knicks are bringing into the organization, some of these players, super athletic, that can be able to do different things on the floor. And, look out in a couple of years, who knows? We might see a Jeffries on the main roster doing some things. So
I tell you what, if Perrion Hunt doesn't step up and play, that two-way position could be open. You know what I mean? And so he may not make the main roster right away, because there's a lot of players on the team at that position. But he could make that two-way roster contract. If what's his name doesn't step up, if Keels doesn't step up. I don't know if I said Perrion Hunt. If Keels doesn't step up, not Perrion Hunt, I meant Keels. If Trevor Keels doesn't step up, then that spot could be open. You know what I mean? So, Trevor Keels better step in and play some ball, because looking at Jeffries, I like his size. I like his energy. Plays with confidence. He seems to understand the basketball game, and he seems to be a good defender. Is he a guy that's going to all of a sudden be a star? I doubt it. But he could one day be a good basketball player and make a roster. Maybe not the Knicks, but make a roster. So, Trevor Keels better step up, and I'm looking forward to seeing him step up and play better today. And looking in the chat, I see, I don't remember who it was, but someone just said that Perrion Hunt is not going to play today, that he's out today. And, there may not be any specific reason that Perrion Hunt is out. It could be that the Knicks seen what they wanted to see from him. They know he's got the two-way locked up, and they want to see some other guys out there. That's what Summer League is about. If you looked at the Golden State Warriors roster, they had like 22 guys on there. You know what I mean? So that's what it's about.
Most of them born in 2002.
Right. So it may not mean anything at all. It could just be, hey, we know what you got. We know what you did. They seen Perrion Hunt in practice. They seen Perrion Hunt in game situations with the Knicks. They know about Perrion Hunt. Maybe they want to get a chance to see, maybe they want to see Jeffries. And, if Jeffries is deserving of that two-way roster spot. Right now, Trevor Keels has it. So, I think it probably has something to do with that. And with Hunt being out, Jeffries may get that spot. He may start at that position, right? Yeah, so we will see. I did want to respond to one other thing that was in the chat. I seen, who said it? Russell McCall said, I think Miles McBride lacks confidence. Then Margaret Edwards said, McBride is not lacking confidence. Stop making things up. I agree. I don't think that Miles McBride lacks confidence. I think he's just working on his game. You know what I mean? I think he's just working on his game. Any other thoughts on tonight's game? The game begins at 5 p.m., ladies and gentlemen. Any thoughts on tonight's game?
Yeah, Sam, for me, I just want to see Jericho Sims continue doing what he's doing. And I think a lot of people, and even us, from face value, we can look at Jericho Sims and say, okay, he's not going to get that much playing time. But I think there is a role for Jericho Sims on this team. I don't think that signing that 3-year contract was just a fluke. I think he will have a role in this team. And that, really is going to depend on Mitchell Robinson, if Mitchell Robinson can stay healthy. throughout the course of the season. Obviously, you want Mitchell Robinson to play all the games, right? But, just, realistically, that's not going to happen. But I think Jericho Sims is going to be a really good player on this New York Knicks team, particularly, if not this season, but the next season, if some roster changes are made, if Randall's not here and things of that nature, I think you may see Jericho Sims, a major part of this rotation, moving forward. So I definitely am looking forward to seeing what Jericho Sims can continue to do and continue to improve on. Great screener. He's a really good screener. Really good screener.
Yeah. Any thoughts, Andy? Andy?
Yeah, I'm going to just add this to what Josh said about Jericho Sims, that, about his game, I see, minor things to improve about, his offensive prowess and stuff like that. A couple of post moves would be way better, just only dunks and stuff like that. But about the contract situation, I'm really happy that it's a 3-year contract, because if I'm correct, we're going to have his bird rights after that contract. So we will be able to go over the cap to re-sign him if there's a situation that, we need him on the roster, and we're going to be, in salary cap problems. So we will be able to retain him. I saw him signing the contract. He did that small smile. I was happy about that.
I think Jericho Sims, man, he's probably on the same contract that Mitch was on when Mitch got signed a couple years ago, making about $1.8 million a year or something like that. He's going to have a chance to prove that he's worthy of an NBA spot. I mean, he's already got an NBA spot, worthy of playing major minutes on an NBA team. So, we'll be watching his development. You know what I mean? I think he's a hard worker. He's put in some work with Julius Randle over the summer, like it or not. Put in some work with Julius Randle. Julius Randle is looking super slim. I'm sure you guys have seen the pictures of Randle. Like, he's like Obi size.
It's the keto, Sam. It's the keto diet.
You know what I mean? How do you think that's going to impact this game?
Well, it's well known that Julius Randle didn't come into camp in the best shape after that season that he had. I don't know if he kind of took it for granted or what have you. So it is kind of exciting to see Julius Randle slim down a little bit, perhaps get a little bit faster on the offensive end. Still don't mean anything for his mental, though, for his mental and his IQ and everything like that. But I think with his ability to be a little bit more athletic, he can kind of get away with some of those moves off the dribble a little bit better. Still a big body by he's not a small guy. He's still a big guy. I think his shoulders are still going to be big. But I think his ability to cut weight will make him a little bit faster and a little bit more athletic on the offensive end to kind of make up for what he doesn't have mentally and from an IQ standpoint.
Okay. Andy, any thoughts on it?
Yeah, I'm with Josh on the, cutting weight probably makes him a little bit faster. But for me, it's also important because we see the change with his body, but I think it's also in his head. So I'm happy that, he ain't just, chilling out in Italy or whatever and eating whatever. So yeah, I'm happy that he's changed, his mental approach, and his diet approach and working out. So I wasn't afraid that he's not going to work out, but it's good to see it soon.
Yeah, I was concerned.
And it shows that he's putting in work, which a lot of the Knicks fans, kind of forgot that Julius Randle actually works and he works on himself to improve himself. And I think a lot of Knicks fans forget about that point when it comes to
Randle. Yeah. With him in Italy, spending so much time in Italy, he's not the only Knicks player that was in Italy. A couple other guys were in Italy as well. I'm like, there's a lot of pasta, man. You know what I mean? Don't, you got to have some Italian salads or something. Don't go crazy on the pasta. Don't go crazy on the pasta. I know I don't play in the NBA, though. If I was there, I'd be going crazy on the pasta because I love pasta. But, just saying. But you think that it goes to his mindset. It kind of shows or gives an example of his mindset entering the season. That, hey, I got to get back to working hard, being in shape, and dedicating himself. So I hope you're right. That's a good thing. I do get concerned. I mean, I don't know what he's down to. Maybe he's down to 240. He's normally at 250. Maybe he's at 240. Maybe he's thinner than 240 or smaller than or lighter than 240. I get concerned, will he still have the ability to play some of that bully ball?
He ain't gonna lose that, Sim. You ain't losing that over 10, 12 pounds. So
I hope not.
Yeah.
I hope not. Let me ask you this. A lot of people, I've seen some people ask questions about it. So I'm going to ask for them. I'm asking for a friend.
Nope.
I'm asking for a friend.
Nope.
Right? Andy, I'll ask Andy. Right? With his size difference, do you think the Knicks said, hey, we want you to lose some pounds, get a little bit thinner. We're gonna try in training camp, preseason basketball, you at the 3, Obi at the 4, Mitch at the 5. Andy?
Sim, he still weighs probably way more than Obi does. He's built like a bull, Sim. He is so strong that I'm pretty confident only one probably that could bench more than Julius Randle might be Jericho Sims. And we know that he's a really big body. I think I'd sooner see a scenario where we play both of them at the 4 and the 5 than at the 3 and the 4.
Okay.
And not to mention that we got too many guys on the roster that could play the 3. That's why true. I'm saying this. Okay. Cam, even Quentin Grimes can play the 3, Perrion Hunt or whatever. So I think it's sooner that we see them playing the 4 and the 5 than the 3 and the 4.
Okay, I'm just saying, if you want more minutes for Obi out there on the floor, Tom Thibodeau's not big on going so small that you got 2 6'8" guys out there, one at the 4 and one at the 5. That's the reason why I believe they picked up Isaiah Hartenstein. One of the ways that you can do it is have Julius Randle play some 3. I think he could play 4 or 5 minutes a game at the 3 spot. I really do.
Oh, yeah, that amount, yeah.
I do.
That amount, sure.
I think he could play that 3 spot for 4 or 5 minutes a game. And then that gives Obi Toppin 4 or 5 more minutes out there on the floor. So now you're taking him from 17 minutes a game up to 23 minutes a game, 22, 23 minutes a game. I think there were a couple of games where he played some 3 last season. And I think he could. The biggest issue is him on the defensive side. And when he had to play against like Paul George's or Kawhi's or KD, he played good defensively, in my opinion. Obviously, guys like KD are going to score on him. But I thought he played good defensively against them one-on-one. So I really wouldn't worry about it that much. I think that he could play some 3. I do. I see Josh shaking and saying, doing that. I think he could.
No, I mean, it's not necessarily him at the 3. It's mostly him and Obi together at the 3 and 4 position. I think that's the part that's, for me, I'm just not a fan of.
Why? What would be bad about it?
Well, I'm just trying to offensively. I'm just trying to look at the fit on the floor. I know the games are totally different, but offensively, defensively probably it can work. Julius Randle's not that bad of a defender. I agree with you in that regard. Obi is. But offensively, again, and I was talking about this last year with you. So offensively, I don't see what the Knicks can really do with these guys on the floor. Or if in a Tibbs system, if Tibbs can be able to incorporate those 2 guys and what he wants to do on the floor offensively. That's just the issue for me at that point.
I don't know. I think he can. I think Julius Randle can pass well enough to be able to find Obi Toppin cutting back door on alley-oops. Right? I think you can put Julius Randle in the corner. I think you can put Obi Toppin in the corner. And the ability to put both of those guys in the corner means one of the other guys can play in the post if you need them to play in the post. You know what I mean? I think you can find ways for it to work. But, we'll see. We'll see. We got a couple of months. We'll see how things happen and how it plays out, ladies and gentlemen. Any predictions for tonight's game? Andy?
Well, I hope we're going to win. And after this win, I think, the guys on the Summer League roster are going to be watching out those, photos of that Summer League ring, because this year's winner is going to get rings like the championship rings in the NBA. So I think they're going to have that, that ring on their mind slowly but surely.
Is it real gold or is it, is it a silver
Guillermo
ring?
said that
Bronze?
Guillermo said that he ain't happy about it, but it could sell. So
right. Josh?
15 and 15 for Jericho Sims. 15 rebounds for Jericho Sims, 15 points for Jericho Sims. And I'm going to say Grimes is going to shoot better from the field. I'm going to say he's going to shoot about 48% from the field in this game.
Okay. All right. I'm looking for the Knicks to get a win, man. I want to see the Knicks go undefeated. I think in the Summer League, the top 2 teams play for the championship, right? It's not a real playoff, a real tournament. The top 2 teams playing the championship. I'd like to see this team make the championship. Win the rings, come back, tease the other guys. You can even tease Derrick Rose because he don't got one. And if Carmelo was on the team, you can tease him too because he don't got one. All right. But ladies and gentlemen, we're up out of here. We will catch you in the post-game show. All right. The game starts at 5. So I'll say the post-game show maybe comes on about 7:30 or so. All right. So make sure you join us there and enjoy the game, ladies and gentlemen. We are up out of here. Peace.
This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the